Hey, what's up guys, Soakley, and we're playing Total War Warhammer 2. I am playing as the Skaven here. My opponent is going to be the Lizardman, and take a look at this Aurora Borealis. What a beautiful map. In any case, in terms of my build, it's going to be focused around the Warp Lightning Cannon. It's one of the things you want to bring against probably the Lizardmen, is something to counter their big, heavily armored units. So that's what I have. Speaking of countering armored units, 2 Poison Wind Globadiers, and then in the back, a core of 3 Rat Ogres, followed by a clan rat with spears. This is just going to be my anti-large marauding force, and they're going to go ahead and try and go where the monsters are at. Up through the center, Lord Skrulk as always. I really like bringing him, and he's going to be up here just to be able to pop some of these clan rats. These are pretty cheap, and I just want to keep popping them just to delay the opponents. Even if they're to kill them for free, it's just going to buy me more time to shoot into Lord Mazdamundi. So I'm literally going to leave them out here to die. Some skinks are going to come out from the flank, but I brought 2 assassins, and I actually am starting to like these units as kind of like mainline buffing units. They're pretty cool. They have a lot of health, and they can hold out for a long time. They're pretty quick. But one of the main things that I really like about them is if you take a look at the bottom left, it's hard for me to get the stats on these guys. But anyways, they do have an ability that allows you to, it's a one-time use, but heavily debuff the enemy's armor and attack around you. So that's pretty cool. So stick them kind of in the middle of the combat, pop those abilities, and it allows your mainline troops to perform much better. Anyways, as the enemy pushes up, I guess we can continue to look at the rest of my build. So like I said, kind of anti-large here, anti-large / anti-monster on the flank. 2 of these assassins to buff up the main line, and then the main line itself has Skaven Spears just to absorb enemy charges in the front, and then Plague Monks in the center to get charges off against Saurus Warriors, and then 2 Death Runners to get the armor sundering as well. So combo that in the center, and it should be pretty good against enemy Saurus Warriors, which I was expecting some of. Lord Skrulk is also going to be in the center, just continue to pop clan rats and hopefully get some spells off against the enemy. Liber Bubonicus being a very important one, as well as a couple of his other spells here that I have. Let's see. What is it? Rod of Corruption. This one is really good. Stick him close to combat, and he just does a lot of damage to big clumps of units. So that's why I like bringing him. This comboed with the assassins, both popping abilities to degen your opponent, and you can really buff up your main line, make it perform much better. Anyways, my opponent has brought forward a combo of a bunch of Saurus Warriors with some spears and some skink cohorts on the flanks. He's got a couple Kroxagar units in the center, and Lord Mazdamundi as well, although he's been taking a fair amount of damage. A lot of these units have been left in the back, not quite sure what is going on with that. So he is leaving some units in reserve. I don't know if it's quite on purpose. But anyways, the enemy is charging forward with skink cohorts and Saurus Warriors and Kroxagars. So as you're playing battles, you always want to kind of try and analyze, okay, how do I counter this most efficiently? So Saurus Warriors are going to be up front. That's why I'm pulling in my Death Runners to try and debuff their armor. And then once they're starting to get those enemy tied down, then I can charge back in with Rat Ogres as well. And I'm even considering getting my Assassin in here to degen this. Now against the Kroxagars, that's why I also am pulling over some Clan Rat Spears and some Skaven Spears. So that's going to be my combo to defeat this. Meanwhile in the center, I'm just going to continue to pull back because I can. Skaven Spears are going to reposition to hold firm, and then the rest of these guys are just going to form up around the Warp Lightning Cannon to fire away. More clan rats just going to be popped to hold up the front. And yeah, a couple units, feral cold ones getting around the flank. And here you go, this assassin here coming in, I believe popping some of those abilities. So there you go, you can see it popped on the enemy there. Rival High Talisman, minus 44 melee attack, really great for making your opponent not do very much. So you can see these Kroxagars here just not being able to do very much. Really low armor at this point. 0 melee attack, holy crap. Yeah, you can zero out unit stats, that's freaking crazy. In the center, Plague Monks against the enemy. Rod of Corruption being popped here because I know it's going to start to hit more and more units nearby. And just pulling back with my Skaven Slave Spears because I know that I can. And yeah, that's freaking awesome. So debuffing your opponent across the board. I can't believe these Kroxagars have 0 melee attack. That is the power of that ability, and it allows Death Runners and other units to just chew through. Take a look at these Saurus Warriors. Yep, they're also looking at 0 melee attack. Skink Skirmishers, 0. Cold One Riders, 0. So holy crap, you can negate, you can shut down your opponent. Such a crazy good ability if you can combo that with everything here. So yeah, you can see the enemy just getting shredded. If you had another ability popped on this that, like, for instance, if I had Lord Skrulkin here also popping degen on the enemy, and maybe even pop poison on this. Oh my god, you can tear the enemy apart. In any case, in terms of the engagement, again, just allowing my cheap units here to tie down the enemy. Poison Wind Globadiers, yes, they have a net of Ammontok, but they're not going anywhere. They're just going to be throwing stuff into the engagement here. The Assassin popping his abilities, or getting ready to, and then he's going to fight. Lord Skrulk getting into the enemy, and then I'm going to spot this little gap here and pour through with my Rat Ogres to hit these Sword Spears in the back. Looks like my opponent has finally woken up in the rear and is going to be pulling in some reserves, but those are absolutely necessary. He would have loved to have these guys ready to hit me in the flank, but unfortunately, the mistiming there is going to cost him pretty dearly. Come in with my Skaven Slave Spears into the center to commit here. But yeah, Rival Hide Talisman still being popped. So this entire blob here just not doing anything. That's such a crazy ability. And yeah, finally Mazdamundi gets into it, but he is super low health. And another thing you can do with your assassins is popping trophy heads against the opponent, which really drives down their stats even further. In the center, the enemy is absolutely collapsing. Lord Skrulk here going to pop Wither to drop his armor, which is going to allow these forces to just do so much damage. I'm also going to commit 2 Poison Wind Globadiers against Lord Mazdamundi, so he is going to be going down. Tremendous stuff. Clan Rats being popped. Kroxigor is coming in, but they're also going to be hit by Wither. So, oh my god, I love how good you can get the degens with Skaven Assassin in here as well. And they're pretty good melee combatants, so they're going to be in there. Death Runner is going to be sent to pursue the skink cohorts. And yeah, overall pretty happy with how this engagement is going. Plague Monks doing really good stuff. And then these Poison Wind Globadiers, the anti-large unit's going to target Lord Mazdamundi. And there he goes, Onslaught going to be going down. Lord Skrulk also going to feast on his flesh here. So that was pretty cool. So that was a quick victory for the Skaven. Nice little pickup. Not necessarily the most strategic of battles, but I did want to show just the amount of control you have with bringing some assassins and just the spells as Skaven. It is super powerful, and you can really buff up, as I keep saying over and over and over again, your main line. And you top that off with the ability to spawn even more units and just swarm your opponent. I mean, if you get rid of their ability to do damage and then spawn a bunch of cheap units, you can get so much value out of that. It's crazy. The main thing is keeping yourself from getting a general collapse of your forces. You have to be a little bit careful of spamming cheap troops like Clan Rats, Skaven Slave Spears, etc. So that's why I like to bring Rat Ogres with a bit more health and sustain. As well as the Assassins, they kind of help have a little bit of leadership in your main line as well. So yeah, that's it for the battle. Again, like I said, not too much in terms of tactics. My opponent forgot some units behind. He perhaps seemed a little bit new, but then again, this was more of an exposition of what you can do with those spells and debuffs. Let's go ahead and end the replay and see what the kills were on my side. So yeah, Skaven Slaves, don't expect them to do too much. Assassins doing pretty good. Most of those kills against Source Warriors, so that's a pretty good trade. A lot of their degens helping a lot. And Death Runners in the mix against Source Warriors, freaking awesome. Rat Ogres doing their work. And Plague Monks, you don't expect them to do too much against the enemy. They are anti-infantry, but don't have too much armor piercing. So being able to wither against your opponent to draw away their armor suddenly makes these guys very, very cost effective against Source Warriors. And you saw that really happen. My opponent here had, yeah, an infantry focused build against Skaven. I would definitely recommend bringing some big dinos. Kroxigars are maybe a decent idea, but I just haven't found too much value for them. You do want something perhaps like at least a Carnosaur that can have enough mass to just punch through the lines and continue to disengage, whereas Kroxigars will kind of get tied down more so than the Carnosaurs would. Feral Kodoran's a pretty good idea. I would wait to engage with these guys until your main line is in, and then throw these guys on the flanks and try and get them to run rampant in the back lines. If you engage them too soon, they can probably get tied down and defeated. So anyways, that's it for this battle. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more, and definitely below let me know what kind of builds you've been finding that work, and definitely, like I said, try out these assassins in the mix of your lines and make sure you bring their special abilities. To me, they are really beneficial. So yeah, see you in the next one. Peace out.